picked up the Huawei Pura X Max from Huawei's flagship store on launch day and immediately got the unboxing done. I went with the white version featuring 12 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage, and for the past 3 days, this phone has been my daily driver. By the end of this video, you'll probably have a much clearer picture of what this device is really capable of.
A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out our exciting tech content.
As always, let's begin with the hardware and design. The phone is officially listed at 11.74 millimeters thick when folded, and once opened up, it drops down to just 5.91 millimeters. With the factory screen protector still attached, the total weight comes in at around 236 grams. Even so, because of its compact square-style design, holding it with one hand is surprisingly comfortable, and it doesn't dig into your pinky finger like some heavier foldables do. Since the cameras are placed horizontally, they also avoid getting in the way of your grip. Another thing I really like is the placement of the power button. Compared to standard foldable phones, it sits lower on the frame, making it much easier to reach naturally with your thumb. Unlocking the phone, changing pages, and pulling down notifications all feel far more convenient because of this. Huawei has also kept its long-standing swipe down gesture for opening the main menu, and thanks to the screen becoming narrower vertically, reaching the top area actually feels easier now. Still, I'd love to see Huawei eventually add an Android-style feature where swiping down anywhere on the home screen opens the notification menu. For many users, that would probably feel even more intuitive. Now, when it comes to the actual user experience, this outer display isn't just convenient physically, it's also extremely practical in both software and viewing experience. Let's compare it to a standard candy bar smartphone for a moment. When browsing content feeds, the amount of information shown on Huawei's display is not smaller than the regular phone beside it. In some cases, it even feels almost identical. Things get even interesting when watching landscape videos. Once unfolded, the viewing area becomes noticeably larger than the horizontal screen space you get on a normal phone. On top of that, the annoying black borders are reduced significantly. In the Gallery app, for example, a traditional phone only comfortably fits 3 columns of images, and squeezing in 5 would make everything look tiny. But on this expanded display, 5 columns fit naturally without looking cramped at all. The same situation appears in other apps too. A regular phone might only show 2 columns, while this expanded display can easily fit 3. Typing on the outer display is also surprisingly comfortable, especially when using the full keyboard layout, because the wider spacing reduces typing mistakes. That's why I say this expanded screen is genuinely practical. In many everyday situations, it actually performs better than a traditional smartphone, and that's a really important point. Of course, its biggest weakness also comes from that same wide design. Because the screen is short vertically, the amount of information visible at once is more limited. In news apps, for example, a single article preview can't fully fit on the screen, so you end up reading part of the text first and then scrolling to continue. The same thing happens when viewing photos or reading long articles. Compared to the outer display, a standard smartphone can usually see around 3 extra lines of text. Even for vertical short videos, the display area is slightly smaller than a normal flat phone. But honestly, these compromises aren't deal breakers at all. We're only talking about a few extra lines of text here and a slightly smaller short video display. The moment I unfold the phone into its second form, an entire article fits comfortably on one page. Watching landscape videos is also much simpler. On a normal foldable, you usually need to enter full screen mode and rotate the phone manually. With this device, you just open it and instantly get a full screen viewing experience. Then there's the third form factor, which feels almost like using a small tablet. By rotating the phone vertically, the viewing area for portrait videos becomes larger, while the black borders naturally hide distracting elements like profile pictures and like buttons. It actually creates a really immersive viewing experience. Reading comics on this phone is genuinely fantastic. On regular foldables, comic pages often appear too small, making dialogue difficult to read when there's a lot of text. Square foldables have a larger screen, but you usually only see part of a page at once. This device, however, lets you clearly view an entire page comfortably, and that makes a huge difference. The biggest distinction between this device and a traditional square foldable isn't just the hardware, it's the software experience created by its unique form factor. A square foldable remains square no matter how you hold it. Basically, it only has two modes: folded up like a remote control or unfolded into a square tablet. But the Pure X Max offers three completely different experiences. First, it works like a wider regular smartphone. Second, it transforms into a large candy bar-style phone. And third, it becomes a horizontal tablet. Here's a simple example that explains why this matters. Some apps still aren't optimized properly for foldable screens, forcing users into awkward layouts. With this phone, you can simply rotate the display vertically and use those apps like you would on a large traditional smartphone. That means anytime this phone is unfolded, the usable display area is guaranteed to be larger than a standard candy bar phone. A square foldable can't achieve that all the time. After spending the last 3 days constantly switching between all three modes, I haven't experienced any bugs, stutters, or lag issues at all. Huawei has clearly built up serious experience with foldable display technology and the HarmonyOS ecosystem over the years, and it definitely shows in real-world usage.
When it comes to the software experience, this phone is seriously impressive. You can really see the level of optimization in all the little details, whether it's the app switching animations, the photo editing interface, the dock bar that appears at the bottom of many apps, or the built-in AI reading assistant. Everything feels polished. If there's something on the screen you don't understand, you can simply circle that section and instantly ask the AI for help. Here's a fun example. I used my knuckle gesture to take a screenshot of my favorite blogger's cover image and saved it. The first image was the blogger's photo, while the second one was my own picture. Then I entered a simple prompt saying, "Please generate the person in Figure 2 according to the template in Figure 1," and hit generate. Honestly, the final result looked surprisingly good. At this rate, are we all going to start making covers like the top 100 bloggers in the future? Seriously, it's kind of crazy. Now let's move on to gaming. At this near tablet display size, basically every game feels fantastic to play, and in some cases, the experience is even better than using a regular foldable phone. The only real limitation comes from the frame rate support of the games themselves. Titles like Honor of Kings work especially well on Huawei devices, not only supporting 120 FPS, but also offering excellent screen scaling on both the inner and outer displays. Games I personally enjoy, like Golden Cicada and Naruto, also feel great because of the comfortable screen proportions. Unfortunately, their frame rates are currently locked, so we'll need future updates and optimizations to fully unlock the hardware potential. As for the cameras, Huawei has basically equipped this foldable with almost its highest-end imaging setup. To test it properly, we compared it directly against the Huawei Mate 80 Pro Max. Of course, comparing a traditional flagship phone with a foldable device isn't entirely fair, but the goal here is simply to use Huawei's best flagship camera as a benchmark. During daytime photography, the gap between the two phones is actually very small. But once you move into nighttime scenes or more complicated lighting environments, the Mate 80 Pro Max starts showing the advantage of its larger sensor. Lights appear cleaner and more defined, wall textures show extra detail, and the overall image looks more refined. The reason for this comparison is simple: to show viewers realistically that while this may not be the absolute strongest camera phone Huawei makes, it's definitely among the top-performing foldable phones when it comes to photography. Other flagship features are all present as well, including NFC, wireless charging support, and infrared remote control. This device also uses the Kirin 9030 Pro chipset along with a solid speaker setup. Whether the phone is folded, unfolded, held vertically, or used horizontally, you still get proper stereo dual speakers. It really feels like Huawei packed in everything possible. Of course, no phone is perfect, so let's talk about some of the downsides too. First is the 5,300 mAh battery capacity. On paper, that number honestly feels a bit small.
I've only been using the phone for 3 days so far, including 2 days of fairly light usage with just one SIM card inserted, and up until now, the battery life hasn't felt bad or unusually fast draining. I'll need more time before making a final judgment. Honestly though, I wouldn't be surprised if Apple's future foldable device ends up using an even smaller battery. The second issue is the home screen layout. In widget mode, the desktop can only display 3 rows of apps, while traditional foldable devices can fit 4 rows. This will probably become a common limitation for future devices in this category. To be fair though, Huawei clearly thought about usability here. They know the top row usually gets used less often. During setup and upgrades, the phone intelligently keeps your widgets and bottom dock apps in place while moving the top row apps onto a third page so users can rearrange things more easily later. Third is the placement of the inner display camera, which is clearly a deliberate design decision from Huawei. I've used Huawei tablets before, and I remember their camera placement being on the upper left side. If Huawei had placed the camera on the upper right side here, it could have blocked important gaming buttons, close icons, and even skip ad buttons inside some apps. So in practice, this smaller camera positioning actually makes a lot of sense. As for heating performance, everything felt pretty normal to me. I never experienced any unusual overheating during use. The starting price of the Huawei Pura X Max in China is 10,999 yuan, which works out to roughly 1,193 pounds in the UK and about 1,613 US dollars in the United States. So to wrap everything up, Huawei genuinely impressed me with the software integration on this device. The level of polish and attention to detail is excellent throughout the entire experience. When I bought the phone over the weekend, the Huawei store employee quietly asked me, "You're not a reseller, right? You're not planning to flip it?" I laughed and said no. And honestly, even after finishing this review, I still wouldn't want to sell it. It's been a long time since I've used a tech product that felt this unique. The overall experience has been genuinely enjoyable. And honestly, that's probably why this video ended up being so long. This is a very flexible device. It can replace a tablet while also functioning perfectly as your main compact daily phone. It strikes a really smart balance between portability and maximizing screen size. Huawei has honestly set a strong example here for other brands that still haven't explored this type of product design. Right now, this feels like the benchmark answer. The only question is whether competitors will follow this approach or try something completely different. All right. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, make sure to leave a like and show your support. I'm Uncle Bai, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.